Hello everyone and welcome back to the Outer Haven YouTube channel. It is I, Getselious, here to bring you another review of a video game I've been playing lately. And what is that game I've been playing lately? That game is Capes. So, you may ask yourself, what is Capes? Capes is a XCOM style turn-based tactics game with superheroes. And if anyone knows, I'm a huge fan of superheroes. It's really cool, I love the genre, I've been reading comics my whole life. This is definitely a reason why I wanted to play this game. It combines two things I love, comic books and superheroes. So, I personally want to give a shout out to both Spectator Interactive and Daedalic Entertainment for, providing a copy for me to get this game. I really enjoy it, and I want to talk more about this game. So, what's the premise of it? As I mentioned earlier, it's pretty much like if XCOM and I would say XCOM, Marvel Midnight Suns, and I would say general strategy games, just so I would say general strategy games, like other strategy-esque games, kind of fused together into a really good game. And I kind of like a lot what this game is throwing down, though there are things that go into later of it. So, let's talk about the first thing I always talk about for any video game I do review here. Let's talk about the graphics and the aesthetics. So, aesthetically, this is more of a superhero. It's kind of very grim dark. It reminds me of late 90s, early 2000 comics where superheroes are getting more realistic, even the way they dress. Like, they're no longer wearing the flashy superhero costumes. They're wearing, kind of realistic clothing. Maybe some future tech if they have future tech. And that's just kind of the way they are. And I think I kind of like that aesthetic a lot because it makes it more grounded, more realistic. That's pretty good. Graphically, this game is okay. I mean, it fits the aesthetic well. It's really well done. And I kind of enjoy it. So I'm giving the graphically, there's some animated cutscenes here. There are some cutscenes I noticed where there's characters talking and the models don't move properly a bit, which gives it I don't know, I can't tell because it's like the models are well done, the graphics look good, it's very well done, but how the models when they're talking doesn't lip track or things like that, doesn't look consistent. So it was if this was a PS2 game or maybe earlier, I would give it a little more leeway, but it's kind of not. And I would say it doesn't happen in all cutscenes, but there's some I kind of noticed this. So for overall graphic aesthetics, I give it a solid 4. It hits that superhero niche, a very particular type of superhero niche, where it is late 2000s modern era superheroes. They look more realistic and less kind of capey stuff. If that's your jam, go for it. If not, hey, I always think all superheroes matches the times or the story they're dealing with. So that's about it. Now I'm going to talk about the audio and the sound effects. So, how does this game sound? How does it work? How does it work with its inquiry? The OST music-wise is serviceable. It's pretty good. What the game really does sell me is the voice acting, the one-line quips, how certain characters act, and even how dorky and cool they sound. Facet to me, the guy you see on the screen, the Diamond Head abilities, I love him. He's such a dork. He's such a good guy. Whoever's voice acting does a really good job of nailing this kind of good human being kind of guy who wants to be a hero. He's also kind of I'll get more details on each character plays and how I enjoy them. It's really cool. So, he sounds cool. The special effects kind of work. That's the stronger aspect of it. The voice acting, the special effects, how you punch enemies, you hit them, when you do your ultimate attack and combos, that kind of works a lot better. The music itself is kind of on the weaker side. So, if you had to balance that out, voice acting and sound effects is a solid 4.5 to 5 to me, and music is a 3. Well, you gotta know the score is there. It's a solid 4. Straight to the point, God tier, let's go. That's pretty good there. If the music is a little more better, memorable, I'll give credit to, because it's I really do enjoy what the game is throwing down, what they're doing, because the voice actors do a really good job of selling the story and everything with it. So, we're going to talk to the meat potatoes, the whole point of any video game you're playing. Let's talk about that gameplay. So, because this is a XCOM style game, and what are you doing in XCOM style games? You're taking turns to punch the enemy. It's an RPG. Let's go. Now, characters, your team, your superheroes level up. You unlock more heroes as more missions you complete, both side missions, which are called patrols, and main missions. The more, I would say, better you complete the mission, the more objectives you complete per mission or patrol, you get EXP, which your character levels up also gains EXP, so you can give them new abilities or upgrade abilities they have. You can actually, there's some mix and match diversity for some characters you can go for. You could kind of make a brawler kind of tank with Facet, or you can go full in on rebounds, assassinate ability, or try to give her abilities where she just builds her ultimate quickly and she can do her AoE stab fest, which is really awesome. So, besides the two characters there's also multiple other characters you can play with. There's Mindfire, who is kind of a debuffer, like setup attack character. You have Weathervane, who is kind of cool. I kind of like him. I was trying to figure him out. He has a lot of abilities that allow him to manipulate the battlefield to set up combos. He's great on maps that allow you to push him off and get the instant KO. He's kind of this kind of control CC, or I say close combat kind of crowd control kind of character. It's really cool. You also can unlock other characters such as Ignitz and Hyde, and one of my favorite characters in the game is Kinetic. Kinetic just is a baller. My brother right here just gets so much ultimate. He just dishes out damage. He's just like, if you put him there, he's gonna get the job done. No questions asked. He's the homie. I deeply respect that. So, that's what makes him kind of cool. That's what is it. But with all these characters you play with, you can mix and match, and when you level them up and put them in the game, you can kind of control how they play and what they do. You affect how strong they are. You affect how, like, your strategy is for them based on the idea of the map you're going to get in. What also the game does pretty well is that there, outside of team missions, you play with certain team members. You can have, I believe, 4 characters in a map. Some maps have 3, some 4. You can also have solo missions where that give you more insight on the characters of, like, the reason, their backstory. Like learning that Rebound was, I guess, a former mercenary for hire and was burned by their ex-girlfriend at the time. Spicy stuff like that. You get to learn Facets, like, had friends he used to be a defender. You learn really cool attacks and cool attack current things with characters, which also help level them up and add more to the story. The story element of the game is really good. It really does give me vibes of, like, if you ever read The Authority, which is a really good comic, please check it out. Or Stormwatch is really good. It kind of fits that, like, very superheroes against the government, kind of Civil War Marvel-esque thing going on, and it does a really good job doing so. You get to learn, like, doctrine, like why he's, like, the last cape, or super, we call it. You get to learn how the company took over this city and became evil and things like that. And it kind of fits, like I said, hits all the modern storytelling comics that I enjoy from that era of the late 90s and early 2000s of comics. And it kind of does it really well. It rolls its heart in its sleeve, and that story part's element. And gameplay-wise, let's talk more about gameplay. So, that's me gushing about what I like about lore and little details of it, which is, awesome. So, overall, Capes doesn't really reinvent the wheel when it comes to strategy XCOM style combat. You move, you can attack, you have multiple type of attack actions you have, such as your ultimate, your team up ability with your teammates that give you an extra ability to do so. And you have a certain amount of actions you can do per turn. You have, every character has about 5, they can move to 5 spaces, that's a movement space. And your attack actions range to 2 to 3 depending on character. So you have to make the most of what you can do each turn. Obviously, a basic strategy is to activate Facet's Chrysalis ability, taunt the first dude you can walk down, and then pick off the other enemies, the other abilities. That's a basic strategy, which, it works to get it done. So you can do that to kind of get the mojo going when you're going to deal that pain on somebody. That's a basic strategy. Another strategy you can do is, mark somebody with Mindfire, and then with one action, and then you can KO them, or you use a delay option where you delay the next action so someone else can take a turn and then do a hit combo, and then guarantee that the next attack kills him. You kind of set up combos that way. Similar in games like Disgaea, where it's about you kind of want to make all your actions do the thing well, and the thing is winning the fight. You want to win the fight as quickly, as consistently as possible, because the longer the fight goes, it can, be detrimental to you, especially in a boss battle and anything else. The boss battles in the games are really unique, and diversity of missions that you have, even the solo missions, are kind of awesome as well. So I kind of like that. And gameplay-wise, it does a really good job, but it's not too complex. So you're just, you're playing the game, you're getting better, you're customizing your team or the characters you want to play with, and you're making adjustment as on the fly to play better. I really do enjoy that, and I kind of like how simplistic it is. Though it doesn't reinvent the wheel, does anything well, overall the gameplay is a smooth experience, from leveling up the characters, to gaining abilities, to figuring out what ultimate works, as well as figuring out other unique mechanics of the game. Here's a tip from me to you if you guys pick up capes. So if you're having an issue trying to move Rebound a lot, and you don't know, Rebound already wasted her 5 steps. What will I ever do? Well, you know what you can do? You can make Rebound do better by using her Teleport Strike, which is her spinny attack. If you use its spin attack, that also counts as a movement. Therefore, you're able to move at least an extra movement. That gives you, you have 5, I could say maybe 7 to 8 movement, which also allows you also to move in, do the wombo combo, and then dip out. Like, you get in, get out. You shank and you're out, like any good rogue player. So that's a little tip from me to you. There's little things like that the game doesn't kind of teach you, but you can figure out on your own. So I think that's really cool. There's also another mechanic in the game I actually kind of enjoy. When you're fighting enemies with big weapons and things, you can disarm them. By disarming them, you take away the ability for them to activate their weapon to essentially do big damage. Now they fight you normal. So if you're taunting an enemy and you can't with Facet, or you're drawing attention to them and you can't finish them off that turn, if you disarm them, they'll do less damage to you, which really, really does help. I think it's a really cool idea, the game design. So overall, when I give this gameplay, it doesn't reinvent the wheel, but does a really good job at doing it, and it's simple to the point where I think anyone from an RPG expert to a newbie can pick it up. I give the gameplay a solid 5. It's a great experience across the board. There is much to grind into it, and as much if you just want to play the main storyline and go over it, and you still will have a comfortable, enjoying experience. So gameplay's a 5. So now let's wrap up what I ultimately think about this game. Let's give it the final score. So the game has, in my opinion, great aesthetic. Graphically is pretty good, though some of the cutscenes models are a bit weird from time to time, but it's not nothing to be discerning. The voice acting is excellent in this game. I really do feel each of the characters putting it all in. I love the cringiness of Doc. I love Facet's over exuberance as a good boy scout, Cyclops from the X-Men. Well, classics. I would say classic Cyclops. New Cyclops, you guys see X-Men 97, you know what I'm talking about. And I love how you get to see the heartbreak that Mercurial goes through after spoilers that they find out about when their friend or partner finds out that they're a superhero. You find that response, and that's really good heartbreak. I felt like that was really cool. So I think overall, the final score of this game, if you enjoy tactical RPGs, you enjoy games like XCOM, you enjoy games like Marvel Midnight Sun, where it has a superhero element to your strategy, if you enjoy games like Fire Emblem, Dark Deity 2, SRPGs in general, but you also may not be a hardcore into it, or even you're hardcore, this is a game for you, and you will like it 100%. This is a solid 4 out of 5 game. The only thing that hurts this game back, and it holds it back in my opinion from the 5, is that the game is a little bit on the shorter side, and there are some dominant strategies that just carry you through once you figure it out. That's it. There is some mission diversity the mission diversity on patrols isn't that great at times, but they're kind of fun because you can learn more about the sub-character side story, and that's about it. I feel like if the game had maybe more endgame content, or a new game plus, or hopefully in the future you have a DLC where your hero capes in another town, that'd be pretty cool. This is the game that I really enjoy, and I can't wait to see this game, you guys enjoy the game playable as I'm enjoying it, and perhaps down the line there's a sequel to it. This game has hit my peak of potential of what I get, and I will have to give you guys what I honestly feel about this game. It is a 4 out of 5, a solid game across the board. You guys should, unironically, watching this video or watching now, get it now. This is really a fantastic RPG for newcomers, for veterans, for people who like superheroes, for people who love the aesthetic of like 90s, like the more realism style comics. If that's your jam, this is for you. And even if you're a classic comic book guy, this will impress you in other ways too. You definitely will see it wears his heart on his sleeve. There are lots and nice quips in it. There are references to other comics. If you know it, you know it. So I have to tell you guys, if you had a choice of like getting the game, waiting for sale, whatever, get it now. And you know why you should get it now? Because the game comes out on May 29th. That's right, May 29th, 2024, this game comes out. I cannot stress enough how dope it is. I cannot stress how you would love it if you love this type of game. It plays well on pad, it plays well on mouse and keyboard. I even tested on my Steam Deck and it runs perfectly on that. So I really cannot stress, for those who love superheroes and RPGs, this is up your alley. Overall, a 4 out of 5 game. Get it now. It's really cool. The story's interesting. This game is doing a lot, and the only thing holding it back is that the game doesn't have enough content for my liking to hold more, because in my opinion, it's a little on the short side. And I blame all those years of myself playing long JRPGs. But even on the short side, it's a excellent crafted experience, and what holds it back is some elements of diversity, and that's it. Which is not a big deal because it's short and sweet and to the point, and it's really cool. So with that out of the way, let me guys know what you think about capes. Let me know if you think I'm a little gassing up the RPG aspect. Do you think I'm a superhero fanboy? Yes, I am. I really love my superhero comics. And you want to know more about comics, things like that, check out our Outer Haven YouTube channel, where we do reviews, gameplay, podcasts, live streams, and more on the Outer Haven YouTube channel. This is Getselious signing out, and go be a hero and defend that city in capes, and I'll see you all in the next one.